So hi, I would like to talk a bit about some of the experiences I made when using or reusing language datasets in methodological research on downsampling corpus data. And I'll start by giving a brief background about downsampling. So it's relevant in corpus-based work if a corpus query returns too many hits. This is often the case in studies that have to manually disambiguate or code occurrences. So then we have to downsize data. So if you have let's say a total set of 2,000 hits, you might have to reduce that to 500. The standard strategy is to take a random sample. And the key question basically is whether there is a better way to go about this. And a downsampling design is usually a custom plan for a particular set of data that's informed by the goals of the study and the structure of the data. There are two main statistical disciplines this work draws on. It's sampling theory and the design of experiments, and usually elements from both find their way into a downsampling scheme. So the way this kind of research works is first you need a large and fully annotated data set. And that's where open data come into the picture. And the analysis of this full existing data set provides the benchmark, kind of the target of a study. And then you do a thought experiment and ask, what if I could only analyze, say, 10 or 20% of these data? And then you pit different downsampling designs against one another and see which one gets you closest to the benchmark. The reuse case I'll focus on today involves a data set that accompanied this monograph by Gar Jenset and Barbara McGillivray from 2017. And this was concerned with third-person verb inflection in early modern English. And it included just over 12,000 tokens, a nice size for this kind of setting where you want to downsample. The data were published informally on GitHub. And for the purposes of my study, I applied a few quite substantial modifications to this original set of data. So I decided it would make sense to publish and preserve this data set. And I did so using the trolling archive. And today I would like to talk about three issues or points that I encountered when reusing this set of data. The first one concerns authorship. So I had to decide on an adequate form of citation. And it really didn't feel right to publish it under my name. So what I did was I contacted the authors and received a very quick and friendly and generous reply. I gave them a few suggestions, and they said they were comfortable with the following one. And as you can see, it was important to me to at least mention the original authors in the title of the derived data set. Yes, but generally guidelines for this kind of setting where a reused and derived, slightly altered data set is published aren't really around at the moment. The second point concerns the relevance of carefully curated repositories, and the example here, which I used, is trolling. And there, a data set undergoes a pretty thorough review process. And as a depositor, you get very detailed feedback on various aspects. So this is the 4-page curation report I received. And in this case, this turned out to be particularly helpful because, for instance, formulating terms of reuse was quite intricate for this set of data. There's advantages there for reusers as well because trolling enforces quality standards and pays attention to fair alignment, a thorough documentation, and so on. The final point concerns the role of dataset reusers as long-term curators. So when we reuse a set of data, we engage with it quite thoroughly, and there are sometimes some usually minor issues that pop up and could be corrected or clarified in the data or their documentation. And in the ideal world, this could entail a minor update to the original data set, and this is much easier. If it's been archived in a repository, it would perhaps receive a new version number. So to wrap up, The first one goes out to corpus linguists. Please downsample carefully. And more to the point today, citing derived data sets, there are no guidelines around, so I guess contacting the original authors is usually a good strategy. Using a proper data archive has many advantages, both for depositors and for future reusers. And we as reusers are always dataset creators, supporting the long-term utility and sustainability of data. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening.